Hey guys, welcome back. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a moment and share my appreciation that you guys have been giving to me and Connor. Everything that you guys have done, every kind word, every bit of sharing and supporting of this channel, we truly, truly appreciate you guys from the bottom of our hearts. Connor and I started this entire thing just as a fun thing to do, get together, see each other more, as we explained in previous videos. We don't get to actually see each other in person very often, and when we do, we have a blast. And just spitballed this idea of being able to talk about things that we love, nerdy shit that we love, and this is a way to do that together, living miles apart. And your support has been amazing. We love it. Even just doing these solo videos, Connor's solo project with his Pokemon channel, my solo project with these movies that I'm reviewing and going over. You guys have just helped and supported us from the very beginning, whether we're together or not. We love you guys. To all friends and family who personally know us, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you for sharing and supporting all of these videos and getting them out to people that don't know us. Again, you guys are awesome. But I just want to take that moment. I know I rambled a little bit. I want to take a moment and just share that to you guys. We love you guys. So we're back to part 2 of my channel. A couple weeks back, I started the list of movies for 2021 that I've seen this year. I'm just trying to catch back up on all the movies and do quick little reviews. And I know last week I kind of went a little in depth and kind of rambled a little bit more in these videos. And for this video, I only have about 6 more. I just want to kind of make them quicker. They won't be as in depth or articulate into every detail of each movie, but I'll give you a quick little thing about them. And then give a grade at the end like I did last week as well. So let's get started. So the first movie we're going to be talking about is Coming to America, which is the sequel to obviously Coming to America, the first movie that came out in the 80s. And this one follows Eddie Murphy once again playing Akeem. And he finds out that he has a bastard son. And he wants to go get this son from America, bring him back to Zamudia, and prep him to be the next king for when he passes. This movie has a lot of heart. I'll give it that. It does have a lot of the same kind of heart in a sense that the first one did. If you like the first one, you'll like this one, just not nearly as much as the first one. A lot of the jokes fall a little flat. It really opens your eyes to some movies, and humor in movies were better in the past than kind of our modern twist on things. We kind of treat the audience as if they're dumb now, explaining jokes, and that kind of is the fault to this one. One thing that was fantastic about this movie was the cast. Morgan Freeman, Tracy Morgan, you have Wesley Snipes show up, and by the way, Wesley Snipes is he's fucking amazing in this movie. I didn't think Wesley Snipes could be a funny kind of actor. I've always seen him in serious stuff or just seen him as badass vampire slayer in Blade. But he comes in this one, and immediately off his entrance, he's dancing into the scene and just being goofy and flamboyant and eccentric, and it's hilarious every single time he's on screen. Same with Tracy Morgan. Once again, Tracy Morgan, I think, always just plays Tracy Morgan, and it's funny. He's rambunctious. He's crude. It works here in a sense, and I'm glad that didn't give him a whole lot of screen time because it would take away from the heart of the movie. But when he does show up, it does add that level of love and heart that the first one had. Overall, not a perfect movie. I think if you're going to want to watch it, expecting it to be just as good as the first, you'll be a little disappointed. It's still good nonetheless. So I'm going to give Coming to America a B-. All right, next one we're going to talk about is Godzilla vs. Kong. And this one is the sequel to Godzilla King of Monsters, Kong Skull Island, the first Godzilla movie, well, the first of this series. One thing that's great about this movie is the scale size with the monsters, whether it's Kong, whether it's Godzilla, they do feel huge. When you see them on screen, they do feel big, and that is just the excitement you want in this movie. Where it falters, though, again, is the human characters. These movies try to give you human characters to kind of play along with and kind of visualize everything with. Because unless you had that smaller scale, person, you're not going to see Godzilla or Kong as bigger scale creatures. You can put them next to buildings all day, but you need to see the actual people to see exactly how huge they are. That's really the only reason that any of these humans are in this movie. They're not really that interesting, especially Millie Bobby Brown's character. She is a reoccurring character from Godzilla King of Monsters, which is the second in that Godzilla movie universe. And her story, along with her buddy and this conspiracy theorist podcaster that she goes around the whole movie with, their story is the least interesting. And every time they're on camera, it's absolutely horrible. I just don't enjoy it. Every time they were on there, I was finding myself begging for them to go away. I just didn't care. They added no fun to the movie. And a lot of their shit was unbelievable. These fucking people were sneaking through a top secret facility and somehow evading all these security guards. I get that there's a big fucking fight going on outside with all these two titans, but there's still people in this facility, and somehow these fuckers are still evading them. So nothing makes that doesn't make sense. Them alone really ruined that movie and drag it down. The fights are great. The fights are fun. They're engaging. It really gets you involved in it. And I think most people are going to have a fun time, at least watch this movie. This is not going to be a top tier movie of the year, but I think most people will still enjoy themselves. It is a good blockbuster. It's a good popcorn eater. It's a good time to sit down with family and just watch this movie. Not memorable by any means, but still fun. I'm going to give Godzilla vs. Kong a B-. Okay, next up on this list is Thunder Force. I don't know what to say about this movie. Waste of time. Thunder Force is another attempt at a comedic superhero movie that completely falls on its fucking face. If it tells you anything, Melissa McCarthy is in this movie. And once again, Melissa McCarthy plays the same character she plays in every single movie. It's funny because I've heard someone say that Melissa McCarthy plays the same person in every movie. She just has a different job, which is true. That's kind of the same as Adam Sandler or a lot of those kind of actors. The difference is, I don't know, maybe it's because Adam Sandler I grew up with in the past. I don't know if I'm biased or what. For some reason, some things that Adam Sandler's done in the past, like Billy Madison and all that, that's worked. Melissa McCarthy very rarely works for me. Very, very rarely. Something about her doing the same shit, falling on her face. I don't even know if it's her fault. All I know is that she's a funny fucking person. She was funny on Saturday Night Live. She is funny when she guest hosts. I think when she's getting dialogue written for her and people are like, oh, we gotta write about Melissa McCarthy. What is stuff that Melissa McCarthy does? Off. She's gotta fall down. She's gonna be extra tough for some reason. She's gonna be scared of no bullshit. What else? And they do that for every fucking movie that she's in, and it just gets old. So I don't think it's her fault, but it's essentially what it is. It's her being a superhero, falling down, yelling, and going crazy. The bummer to this movie for me is that Octavia Spencer plays the other lead. And Octavia Spencer is a great actress. I think she's so good. She's not huge A-list yet, but I think she could get there with all the movies she's done and everything that she's put under her belt. She's so good, and it feels like when you watch this movie that she's not enjoying herself whatsoever. This movie has a stupid plot. Essentially, the only people that get superpowers in this movie are, for some reason, assholes, and it strictly gives it to only narcissistic, chaotic, weird sociopaths, and that's the only people it gives it to. And good people, if you're good, you don't get them. It doesn't make sense, and it's just trying too hard to be something funny. It doesn't work. Honestly, the only funny part of this movie to me was Jason Bateman. Jason Bateman in this one plays a typical comedic Jason Bateman. He's constantly just has something to say no matter what. He is the best background dialogue person that I could think of. Something where there's two people having a conversation, and he's just in the background saying shit like, yeah, okay. And for some reason, every single time he does background dialogue, whether he's confirming or whatever's happening, it's so funny because you sense the sarcastic kind of attitude to him. When for some reason he's one of the sociopaths that has powers, and his powers is crab hands, and so you get the typical Jason Bateman but with crab hands, and I don't know why I feel like an idiot, but it made me cry laughing. I loved everything Jason Bateman was in this movie, and that was the only reason. Honestly, if he wasn't in this movie would be a straight dog shit F. But because he is, I'm going to give Thunder Force a D-. Wow, I really jumped it up from an F to a D-. Look how generous I was. Whew. All right, the next one that I'm going to talk about is a movie on Netflix. Very recent, very new, in fact, and that is Concrete Cowboy. Concrete Cowboy stars Idris Elba and Caleb McLaughlin. And for those of you who don't know who Caleb McLaughlin is, I get it. He's a very brand new actor. He is the only black character on Stranger Things, the guy that plays Lucas. That's Caleb McLaughlin. So he has delved a little bit from that, and he's now taken a more serious, dramatic role in his own movie. and he does fucking great. I really do think this kid is going places. I think he's going to be a great actor, and it definitely helped to put him up with Idris Elba and to get that kind of acting chop, a top tier African American actor, just to have this powerhouse of a role, and it really drove some emotions out. It really shows how powerful and how hard it is to act without dialogue. Just sitting there and showing scenes of emotion, if a character is crying or if a character has to show a sense of vulnerability. Doing that is extremely tough, and this kid is doing it. The story is very unique, and it comes from a true story. It is about a kid going to live with his father up in North Philly, and there is an entire community of black people who are raising horses, riding horses, in creating a community for people and having stables and just learning how to do blue collar work, not living luxurious lives by any means. But when you take a kid like the one Caleb McLaughlin plays and move him up with his dad in this area, it's a huge, huge adjustment. I like that. Unfortunately, the downside of this movie for me personally is that I didn't get enough of that father-son time or that father-son connection that this movie essentially promised. It really sets up that you're going to get a lot of that. There's going to be a harsh, cruel reality from Caleb to Idris and Idris to Caleb, and it's just going to be a tough love kind of thing. And you get that, but not enough of those moments, not enough of those scenes where they're interacting with each other. A lot of the time, it's Caleb McLaughlin interacting with the other people of the stables who are talking about his dad. You do get a couple moments with him, but just not enough for me to feel satisfied with it. It's fine. It is a fun movie. It's a true story. Predictable story, sure, but it is still good. And I'm going to give Concrete Cowboy an A-. All right, next up, I'm going to be talking about Nobody. Nobody stars Bob Odenkirk. For those of you who don't know who he is, he plays Saul in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. I think he's a great actor. I really only know him from roles like that, so to see him come into a role like this is fascinating. So the guy that wrote Nobody is the same guy that wrote the John Wick movies. You're getting the same kind of movie here. Bob Odenkirk plays a man who is getting out of this world that you don't really know much about. You don't know what he really did. You just know now he's living a boring, mundane life. Now he's forced back into this world. Well, not really forced. He chooses to get back into the world because he has a boring life. He fucking hates it. So he gets back into this life of ass kicking and fighting and shooting and killing. And to see Bob Odenkirk do it, it's hilarious. It's great. And they know what kind of movie they are. It's cheesy, it is real brutal, and it knows that. It plays fun 70s to 80s style music over some of the fight scenes. It makes unique choices. It has Christopher Lloyd in there. And for any of those who have seen Back to the Future, please say that you have. And they just have fun with it. The editing was great in this movie. Bob Odenkirk's acting. And one thing I loved about this is when he does finally choose to get back into this life and he gets into his first big brawl with these like 5-6 guys, he's kind of getting his ass kicked a little bit in the beginning because he's trying to click and remember how to do all this. He's been out of it for a while, so he's a little bit rusty, and they show that. He's getting punched, he's getting hit, he gets knocked out of a window until he eventually just keeps getting up, and he's remembering how to do all this. Like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do this. Oh, okay. He eventually gets down and gritty again, and it just makes it a little bit more believable. Especially Bob Odenkirk, who you look at and don't think that this is this kind of guy, right? I see John Wick and think Keanu Reeves can fucking murder somebody with a book. I can see that. I don't see it from Bob Odenkirk. Now, after watching this movie, I definitely see it. Overall, this movie is great. If I had to right now, it would be my top movie of the year. I think as of now, it's top movie of the year for me. Obviously, we're still early in the year, so things are going to change. But Nobody was good. If you guys have a chance to see it, it's in theaters. It's on pay to rent. Definitely check it out. It's so much fun. But I'm going to give Nobody an A. Okay. Last one that we're going to talk about today is Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat, what to say about this one? I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Best thing about Mortal Kombat is that they made it R-rated, thank God. If you've seen the Mortal Kombat movie, or movies, in the 90s, that were super fucking cheesy. But unfortunately, for some people that were just so bummed by it and think it's dog shit, I'm sorry to break your heart here, but I liked them. I don't know what it is. Maybe it was the little kid in me, but I still liked them. This movie's definitely a step up, but not perfect. Here's why. So from the very beginning, like the first 7 to 10 minutes of this movie, you get an immediate amazing fucking scene between Scorpion and Sub-Zero in the 1700s. You see a backstory between them two, Sub-Zero killing his family and them having this pretty sweet fucking brawl. And that, at that point, you're like, wow, this movie's gonna be great. Oh, this is so, and the blood, the gore, it's got everything I want. The story, it's got everything. It's gonna be good. Then you realize after watching the whole movie, that was the peak of the movie. I think this movie essentially is just a setup. By the end, you do know that they are setting up for other movies. And when movies are essentially just setups, it does take away from its likability. I know some people walked out of this movie and fucking hated it. I didn't hate it, but it is just a setup. Hopefully when the second one comes around, it's good and it's perfect. It has the potential to be. It has its R-rated, it has its characters. Although, let's be honest here, my two favorite people from the Mortal Kombat world consist of Liu Kang and Kung Lao, who in this movie kind of butchered. They were just disrespected. They were given moments to shine, but not enough. And plus, I think everybody's on the same page if they've seen this movie. The main protagonist in this movie, Cole, nobody liked him. He was nice. He was a nice character, but he was just, why was he in this movie? He's not a Mortal Kombat character. He's one that was created for the movie. And it's for viewers that never played the games, never got into the lore. They wanted to have somebody to get behind. They wanted to have somebody like, oh yeah, I'm like him. I don't know what this Mortal Kombat world is. I'm gonna be like him, and I can understand him. But honestly, you can do that with other characters in this universe. There's like hundreds of characters. You could do it with Johnny Cage. You could do that with Liu Kang. You could have this coming of age story with characters that already exist. But when you give us a character like Cole, you take away so much time just trying to explain him. When they already have all these characters, they don't truly have to explain in depth because a majority of people know their stories. And plus, their backstories don't truly matter too much. Just little glimpses of it. But they spend so much time on Cole, this main guy, and it's just, it doesn't work. It's just kind of blech. If there was anybody in this movie that was a show stealer, it was Kano. Kano was fucking hilarious. If you guys seen it, please, you know what I'm talking about. Every scene he was in, he stole the show. He was hilarious. He was crude. Everything about him was great. He said things that we were thinking in the moment. People like him and Liu Kang get into a training battle in the beginning, and Liu Kang does a leg sweep over and over again. And Kano verbally asks, "Is that the only move you know?" Which, if anybody's played the fucking game against Liu Kang, you know that he always leg sweeped. You know he always did the bicycle kick. He did all stuff like that. And everybody thought to themselves, is that the only fucking move that you know? It was just great. Kano was hilarious. I loved him. Other characters were good too. I think Sonya was done good. Jax was done good. I think they were good characters. Nothing about that was bad. The movie falls a little flat, and it's not completely its fault. I know writers were just really want to push Cole on us, and that just does not work. They give us this epic opening and then just kind of... Overall, I didn't hate the movie as much as some people did. But I did have a good time watching it. I thought it was fun with the cheesy lines of fatality and get over here and flawless victory. All that stuff was fun and cheesy, and it's just you have to put those into a movie like this. It's just you can't not put them in there. But if you've seen it, definitely let me know. This one is probably the most divisive, I think, on my list. This one and Godzilla and Kong. But let me know what you thought too. But I'm gonna give Mortal Kombat a C+. Guys, thank you so much for checking into the channel again. Sorry it took me a little bit. I was away this past weekend on a film shoot, shooting a small film in St. Louis. So again, I'm gonna try to get these more regular, and I am caught up for the year now. So these should be, each video now that I do should be one or two things I talk about, which means I could spend a little bit more time talking about them instead of just trying to compress them. But again, keep updated with everything we got going on. If you hit that notification bell, it does let you know. Connor and I will be putting a video out hopefully this weekend, so stay tuned for that. It's been a little bit since we did a collaboration video, so I'm pumped for that. And as always, please, like I said in the beginning, I appreciate all your love and support. I know Connor does too. So like and subscribe down below. Share it around. Show people. Friends and family have been great about that. They've been showing around. We just like to have an audience. We like people commenting. We like people getting into the conversations. It's fun. We love doing this. So please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, and we will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.